Good afternoon. I want to welcome our panelists. I also want to welcome our attendees to our latest Office of Neighborhood Coordination Lunch and Learn. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Vanessa Baca. I am the manager of the Office of Neighborhood Coordination. Very glad that all of my county partners could attend and be here today. We're going to be talking about the Bernalillo County Neighborhood Grant Program today. So I will start off by having our Bernalillo County partners introduce themselves. We'll start with Miriam.
Good afternoon. My name is Miriam Aguilar, and I'm the administrative manager for planning and development services.
Thanks, Miriam. I appreciate it. And then Hannah.
Good afternoon. My name is Hannah Kress, and I am an admin assistant for planning and development services.
Terrific. Thank you so much. And then Daryl, my favorite Bernalillo County person in the world.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. Yeah, this is Daryl Dady. I'm the neighborhood coordinator for Bernalillo County.
Yes, Daryl and I worked together on many projects, so I'm very glad you could be part of this, Daryl. And then there's somebody else who I don't think I know who's yes.
Hello, my name is Antoinette Pacheco, and I'm with the Spruce Park Neighborhood Association. We received a grant from the county last year.
Okay, Antoinette, great. I'm glad you could be part of our panel discussion. Thank you very much. And then I will have Mary and then Megan go.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth Thorne. I'm president of the newly reformed Los Griegos Neighborhood Association, and we applied for and received a grant for this coming year.
That's great. Thanks, Mary, for being part of this. I appreciate it. Sure. And last but not least, we have Megan.
Hi, I'm Megan Martinez. I'm representing Citizens of Information Committee of Martineztown. We received funding for this coming fiscal year. And we also had received a grant from Bernalillo County, I believe in like 2018.
Okay.
So
you have some good experience with working with the program as well. That's great. Well, thank you all for being here, and thank you to our attendees for taking the time. I had invited one other panelist. I'm not sure if he is. Let me make sure he is not here as an attendee. Instead, no, not yet. So we will go ahead and get started on our presentation. We're going to jump right in. We're going to have Miriam and Hannah give an overview of the program and talk about their website, and then Daryl will talk about the work that the Bernalillo Office of Neighborhood Coordination does to help promote the grant program. So Miriam, I'm going to turn it over to you. I think you're muted, Miriam.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Happens all the time with Zoom.
Yes, I'm just still trying to get used to this technology.
I know.
I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see the presentation.
All right.
Just let me know if you're able to see it.
Not yet, but we'll let you know. There we go. Perfect.
All right. So if everybody can see it, this is the Neighborhood Outreach Grant Program for Planning and Development Services. We already introduced ourselves. Like I said, my name is Miriam Aguilar. I have Daryl Dady, and then Hannah Perez. And I just want to talk a little bit of the background on how this program came along. So on August 24th of 2010, the Bernalillo County Commission adopted some internal procedures related to the Neighborhood Outreach Grant Program that provides limited funding for a broad range of neighborhood outreach programs needed to meet with needs for the community. And as part of the grant program, the Bernalillo County Neighborhood Coordination promotes the collaboration between the county and the community. So the community building is core to project success. The process of bringing people together and building relationship is as important as the project results. And just to go over the project must have, it has to occur within Bernalillo County, provide a public benefit, be free and open to all residents within the neighborhood association boundaries, We want to make sure it emphasizes self-help with project ideas initiated, planned, and implemented by the neighbors and community members who will themselves be impacted by the project. And also, we would like to see some community match within the project. So the next question is, who should apply for a Bernalillo neighborhood grant? So it's for recognized neighborhood association within either the Bernalillo County or the city of Albuquerque. The available grant funding, it's $2,500 per association per grant period. So this is the maximum award right now.
Okay, Miriam, I have a quick question. I think you probably are aware that the city updated its neighborhood association recognition ordinance last year. And so now we not only have recognized neighborhood associations, we also have recognized neighborhood coalitions. Would a neighborhood coalition be eligible to apply for a grant, or do they just have to be a neighborhood association?
Up until now, we've not recognized the coalitions per se. Only the neighborhood associations would be eligible for the grants.
Okay, thank you for that. It's one of the questions I had gotten sent, so thank you for clarifying that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you, Daryl. Possible projects. This is kind of like a list that we've seen. So, I mean, this is just a few. Usually it's workshops, training, oral histories, historical projects, specific to the neighborhood, service-oriented projects, neighborhood art initiatives, crime prevention, neighborhood social media events, social events, neighborhood gardens, historical home tours, dedication of a special memorial, mural, or any type of beautification for the neighborhood. This is just a list of what we don't fund. So we don't fund homeowners associations, individual person or businesses. We don't fund religious organization, government agency, political groups, hospitals or newspapers, associations or coalition outside of the boundaries of Bernalillo County. Projects on private property. We don't fund capital improvement projects. We don't fund administrative costs or expenses for outreach groups, beautification and improvement projects that our local jurisdictions have responsibility for, or we don't fund any website creation, maintenance, or any fees associated with the website. So this is pretty much a list that what we don't fund.
May I interrupt though, Miriam? The very first one, I'm not sure, maybe this list is not right. That should not be on there. That's exactly what we do fund for I'm sorry, not homeowner. I'm sorry, homeowner associations.
No.
I thought neighborhood. Okay, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Obviously, we do not include HOAs. I'm sorry. For some reason, I saw that.
That's okay. I know a bunch of HOA people out there got really excited when you jumped in there, Daryl, and then you broke their hearts.
I'm sorry. I don't know what my eyesight's as good as it was yesterday.
It's okay. No worries. Sorry.
Anyway.
Go ahead, Miriam.
Anyway.
And I would like to go over the application components and scoring. There's not really an actual application. It's pretty much you have to come up with a proposal, and in that proposal, you have to hit each of our point system in order to get awarded. So we want a cover page. The application will have 4 sections that will evaluate a total of 100 points. We have this funding request form that it needs to be signed, and it's basic contact information, a summary information about the project, and introduction of the organization. So the bullet number 1, it's to the project summary and need. So you have to be very detailed of what you want to accomplish. And then on the second bullet, we have neighborhood involvement and community building. So that also it's 30 points. So on this section, you should outline who is involved in the project. Project should involve many diverse groups and individuals as possible and should reflect the demographic of the community. The third point should be outcomes, and that's 25 points. So a successful project will have a vision for success and be driven by achievable outcomes. And the final would be project resource and readiness. So this would the community support, whether in the form of in-kind contribution, volunteer labor, donated materials, professional service, or funding forms for other projects. So we would like to see also, like, we are applying for the full 2,500. It's very helpful to have quotes in there to support your request from vendors, consultants, or any type, or maybe also we would like to see like a budget of how you're going to be spending the fund. Is there any questions here?
Miriam, I have a question that was submitted to my office from somebody who couldn't attend. She was interested in possibly applying for the grant, but she did specifically ask about using the grant funding for a website, and you indicated in your previous slide that that was not something that could be funded. Is there a reason why that certain projects or certain initiatives cannot be funded, such as websites?
Right now, the website creation, it's not something that the county would like to spend their funds on, just because it involves a lot of how do I want to say?
It's not the obvious. It doesn't. I guess we just really want to make sure that there are things that people can see. People really can't. They may see a website, or it's more tangible. Yes. Again, like all the other things that we have funded in the past, websites just didn't seem to fit in the same category that what we really wanted to accomplish, I believe.
Okay. So it sounds like you want, like you said, you want to focus on things that are going to be of a benefit, maybe to a larger group than just a neighborhood association that a website would, like something that everybody could enjoy or benefit from. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Right. Getting the community together.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of like the overall application process. So this is kind of 1 through 4 is the pre-award. So the publication of the notice to recognize neighborhood association. Then it would follow by submitting the application proposal, the proposal evaluation by the committee, and the 4th would be the notification of award or non-award. Once this is wrapped up, we move up into the post-award. We follow up with a mandatory meeting for grant recipients, where we provide training on the different reportings they have to do. The second would be to submit the initial and budget report to get the funding going. And the third would be we release the 50% of the funds. The project begins, then we want to reach out and do a meet report to see the status and make sure that the 50% were already spent of the initial budget funds, and then release the remaining balance so neighborhood associations can go out and finish their project. Then we do the final report and site visit, and then the grant gets completed. Sometimes we do allow to give the 100% award release at the beginning, especially if it involves an event, or if there's any reason that you need the initial funding. Let's say that you're going to be pretty much using it to do a mural and you need the money to pay for the contractual services, then we go ahead and we have special exceptions for that too. But the ideal thing is to at least give you the 50% to get you started. The reporting stages, we do the initial reporting, the initial budget, mid-budget, and we like to see the site visit before the final project report is due. We do require all the reports and receipts and any documentation to be returned in a timely manner. The funding, the results, if you don't provide us with any of this situation, or you don't finish your project, we can deny you for any future grants. So we don't want to see that. So we always try to work with the neighborhood association, especially now when we went through the COVID and the pandemic. We did a lot. We had a lot of flexibility for them to finish the project. So we know that things happen, and you can plan all you want, and sometimes those plans don't come as you intend them to. So we are willing to work if there's any issues that come up. We want to hear about it so we can help you, because we don't want to discourage anybody from applying and get funding.
Miriam, I had another question from another person who couldn't be present, specific to the funding requirements. Are there ever any instances in which a neighborhood would have to give their funding back? Not that they would not be eligible going forward, but would there be a scenario where if you found that the money wasn't being spent as you had requested, would the county want the money to be back, or is there not any really scenario for that?
Yes, there's one of the scenarios is if you apply for a grant that's $2,500 and you ended up spending and budgeting less, and you're not able to spend the whole amount. We do ask for the money to be returned, whatever in excess, whatever wasn't used. Another scenario would be if you don't cooperate with us and you don't provide feedback and you don't provide us receipts, and also if you violate some of the guidelines, because when we start the project, we give you an initial budget report and you tell us how you're going to be spending the money. So if you have $100, like $1,000 in contractual services, and you go over that amount and you don't let us know, and you don't change that, and then when we see it at the end of the final reporting that you used funds not in compliance with the initial reporting, then we always try to work with the neighborhood associations. And if you let us know in advance or before, you have to ask pretty much permission to us if you're gonna switch funds from contractual services to, like, let's say office supplies, or if something didn't work out. We are available to make those changes, but we just want to make sure you keep that communication line with us. So basically, it would be on the returning of the funds if you don't follow the guidelines and you not provide us with the reporting and the receipts. And then also would be another situation if you under budgeted and you have excess funding, that excess funding has to come back so we can utilize it for the next funding of the grant. So, because we try to do it at least once or twice calendar year. So sometimes since we work on a fiscal year, we start July and then June. Right now we're a little off, but we're trying to get there. Did I answer your question?
Yes, that was helpful. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and then I just want to talk a little bit because a lot of our neighborhood associations that apply for the first time, they don't know that we kind of treat them as a vendor. So you have to have a nonprofit designation in order for us to, pay you out. So if you don't have one, you can use a fiscal sponsor. So nonprofit designation, that means that you have to register with the IRS and you have to have an EIN number, right? And you can do that ahead of time and work with the IRS to get this set up. If not, you are welcome to use a fiscal sponsor. So we have been giving out grants to, let's say, community. If you were in that blacklist, I don't want to call it in a blacklist, right? But what the associations we don't fund. If you are a coalition, but you work with a registered neighborhood association and they're the ones submitting and administer the grant, we fund that. So basically the neighborhood association that's recognized would be the fiscal sponsor for that group. So that's another way that we want to work with you guys if you know you're not recognized. I want to go over now the grant application deadline. For the FY23 grant, our deadline was December 8th of 2022. So basically we just finished, we just awarded our new FY23 grants and the neighborhood associations are pretty much working with us to start their projects and get funded. Our next grant for FY24, the notification and the advertising of everything's going to happen late summer of this year. Also, we want to discuss how we advertise. So usually we have to go through an RFQ process publication. So we do publish on the Sunday Journal. We also do a county, we advertise it on our county website. And we send out an email notification to everybody that's recognized in the county and the city, and Daryl does that notification of our upcoming grant application deadline.
From Stephen Walker, it was really good.
Yeah, it's through our purchasing, but we provide the list to our purchasing department to notify everybody. And now if you guys have some questions, comments, or concerns, also Hannah's gonna show you guys how to navigate and show our website, because we post a lot of the information. And if we are going to be reaching out in the summer, we're going to be publishing, and she can let you guys know where to be found the information about the grant.
And I went ahead and typed the website address into the chat for our attendees. Did we lose our county? Miriam, I think we may have lost you guys. Are you there still?
Sorry, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, we were switching over from
That's okay.
one laptop to another.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Thank you.
And then did you guys have any questions for us before we show you the website that you wanted us to go over?
There was a question that was typed into the chat. I'll go ahead and ask it now since it ties in with what Miriam was talking about. I almost said Mariah Carey. Sorry, Mariah. Mariah Harrison asked, is the requirement for the community match the same as the neighborhood involvement piece of the app, which I assume she means application?
Not necessarily.
Okay. And then, like I said, I went ahead and I typed the website that had been on the presentation into the chat for everybody as well. So Hannah, you were going to talk some about the website. I know some changes had been made to it last year.
Yes, so we have been going through and trying to update our, sorry, we have been going through and updating our website, and I'm trying to share my screen. It says host disabled participant. Screen sharing. But we have been going through and trying to update our website for a few reasons. Our website was a little bit old, so we wanted to really revamp it and make sure that it was easily accessible and that it was user friendly. We are still trying to work on a few kinks. So We're always open to suggestions, and anything that will help anybody would be greatly appreciated on our end too. Okay, and now you guys can see my screen. So if you're on our website, you can go to A to Z services, just as another way to get to it. I know that somebody shared the link. Thank you for that. You'll go through our A to Z services. You'll go down to where the ends are, and you'll click on our neighborhood grants. Once you click on that screen, this is our new webpage that we've been working on. We do have a picture right over to the right from one of our grants that was given last fiscal year.
Hannah, are you there? Did we lose you? I think the Bernalillo County might be having some technical issues, so we'll wait for them to come back online. But in the meantime, I wanted to have our neighborhood association participants talk a little bit about their experience applying for Bernalillo County grants. Mary, let's go ahead and start with you. I know you said that the Los Griegos Neighborhood Association recently got reestablished, and you all had applied for the grant. Would you share your experience in applying for the grant and maybe tell us what you used the grant funding for? You're muted. That's okay.
Here I am. Sorry about that.
Sure.
So Los Griegos had not had a neighborhood association for about 10 years, and we started the process late last summer and didn't actually become a neighborhood association again until the end of October. Sometime in September, I think, is when we became aware that there was a grant, and then, became a neighborhood association. It's late October, early November, and we thought, oh my gosh, can we do this? Because we had a lot of ideas, wanting to get our neighborhood back together and feeling more like a community. I was not the person who wrote the grant, but the person who did said it really was a pretty straightforward process with a lot of support from Bernalillo County. Steve Bach in particular, he was very responsive, answering questions and giving guidance. And I guess, our main advice would be the earlier you learn about it, the better. Talk with people in the neighborhood association to get ideas going. We reviewed who had gotten grants the year before. And what we're using our funding for is a neighborhood fiesta to bring in a fiesta for the neighborhood to kind of get us all back in communication with one another, both citizens, but also reaching out to some different governmental agencies who can be helpful to our neighborhoods and establishing closer ties. And so we have many, many plans, but we'd say start early, review other projects, but don't be intimidated. There's a lot of help from Bernalillo County to complete the process.
Great. I just had one question for you, Mary. Is the ONC going to be invited to the neighborhood fiesta? Please say yes. Okay.
Of course.
Makes me happy. That's all I want to know.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hannah, are you back online? Did you want to finish your section of the presentation?
We are back online. I'm so sorry about that.
It happens. No worries.
Okay, and then let's see if I can share my screen. Okay, and then I think you have to give me permission again, unfortunately. Sorry about that.
You should have that permission now.
Okay. And then let me jump back on. Okay, I'm sorry. Where did I lose you guys?
You were talking about the I think the fact that you had just recently revamped the website. There was a picture of some kids playing with it was a project that a neighborhood had used to use their grant funding for, and you were talking about that.
Okay, so we did receive this photo from one of our other neighborhood associations and one of the grants that we funded last last time around. We also have one from Skyview Acres. So photos are very much appreciated, especially if they're good quality, because we do want to revamp the website often. So that way we can make sure that we display all of the really hard work that all the neighborhoods associations put into all of their projects. And especially because some of these projects make such a huge impact on the communities. When we are advertising our grants that are going to be coming up soon, we typically have them just right here. Right now, we don't have that event displayed, as we don't want it to be confusing that neighborhood associations would try and apply for something that we're not in the process of doing. So we do only post it during the timeline for submittals, and then we do remove it from the website when that timeline has ended. And it's also on the main page of Bernalillo County as well. So it will get posted on our home screen as well. So you'll see it on our home screen in the latest news and the county spotlights. It will pop up there as well.
Right. And I presume that the entire process is done online. There's no paper application or anything like that.
So for the actual proposals themselves, and Miriam can speak to this a little bit better than I can. So if I mess up with anything here, just let me know. A lot of our stuff is done through Bonfire, and that's done through Steven. So Steven is the one that all the actual proposals and stuff go to. And then once they get reviewed by the committee and everything like that, they come to us. And then that's when we start, once we have who was approved for the granting, that's when they come to this part where we do the initial, the mid, and the final budget reporting.
Okay.
And all of these are now done electronically as well. And we are still working on these as well, but we have moved all of our forms into Adobe PDFs. So we do have a vendor request form and a W-9 form. We have our initial project planning worksheet, our initial budget form. There's a neighborhood grants invoice, a mid-budget report, final budget report, and a final project narrative. And so if we want to just, we'll go ahead and go over one of them really briefly. And if there's any of these specifically that you would like to see, let me know.
Okay.
But we'll go ahead and start with the vendor request form. These are fillable PDFs, so you will have to acknowledge and agree to the terms of Adobe. And to do that, all you have to do is hit continue. Once you continue, you get directed into our form. It does have where you would start, and you do have to fill out all the red asterisks, or it will not allow you to sign these forms. It asks for your vendor
Just so
name.
you know, we're not, were you sharing your screen? Because we're not, we can see you, but we can't see if you were trying to share your screen to show.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. I want to make sure that, oh, there we go.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So once you're able to open up to one of the forms, you can see all of the fillable parts that you do need to fill out. They do have red asterisks. We do ask that when you're doing the vendor request form, whoever is going to be doing your budgeting and who's going to be processing the receipts and stuff, we're hoping that whoever is going to be doing that for the neighborhood association is the ones that are filling out these forms, as it really helps us to make sure that we're contacting the correct person if we have any questions or concerns. And we do ask that the RFQ is also included in these forms if necessary. And for the addressing portion of it, we ask that you use the address where the neighborhood association is registered under, so that it matches your W-9 form, which is down a little bit further here. And then once you have all the red asterisks filled out, you can go down to the very bottom. And once you have everything filled out, there will be a pop-up that says click to sign. You click to sign and you get a copy of what was submitted, and we get a copy of what was submitted right away to our emails. Is there any questions on the vendor request form or the W-9 forms that we have? Okay, I'll go ahead and move on. We do have frequently asked questions as well. So if there's any questions that the neighborhood associations have, we do have them in this link here. If you click on it, it takes you directly to those frequently asked questions, and it has pre-award questions that anybody has that are frequently asked, and also post-award questions as well. And if there is any additional information that anybody has for us, we do have our neighborhood grants at burnco.gov email. And actually, if you just click on it, it should open up a brand new email for you automatically, and you can ask us any questions that you have here. It is a grouped email, so there are several of us that would get that email, not just one person, and it is constantly monitored. So you usually get a question back within 24 hours, if not faster than that. Anything else? Is there any other questions anybody had for me that I can help with, or anything like that, or show you any of our other forms that we have? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. I was hoping that Daryl could talk a little bit about how the I'm recording from home and that was my dog. Sorry about that. I was hoping Daryl could talk a little bit about how your office works more directly with the neighborhoods to help promote this. And there was a question that probably ties in with your work. Daryl is from Janet Aaron. Do email notifications go out to all the neighborhood associations?
Email notifications. Well, again, as we worked that through with Stephen Baca and their office, but I get the list, of course. I get the city's list of neighborhood associations monthly, and then I keep our own county list up to date all the time as well here. So when that grant opening time is here and arrives, then I make sure that Stephen gets the most recent list of recognized neighborhood associations. No HOAs, okay, no coalitions, as far as the county is concerned, like that. But and then Stephen forwards all that information out to everybody through the email process. What I do in my meetings, though, I do like to talk about neighborhood grants, and of course, will do my best to promote it and to encourage the associations to think about it, come up with some ideas. What might they like to do? We've had so much success over the years with different kinds of events and projects. The one that always comes to my mind first probably is the Mountain View Neighborhood Association and their community garden. There's so many people that get involved with that and are involved with it every year. And they've been one of our most successful, I think, in the number of people that they really are able to incorporate and to help out. And it's a fun thing for them. But anyway, I always like to encourage them to think of what would they like to do. Every group is different. What would they like to do? What might they do that could fit into a neighborhood grant? So that's just one of the things that I do at many of my meetings, most of my meetings when I have the time to work that in. But it's just it's been a fun thing for me. And then of course later I go out and do the site visits as well at the end of the projects and events and what have you. And that's another opportunity for me to get more close and up close, if you will, to what has been going on or what is just about to happen with some of these different events and things as well. But no, we just are always encouraging people to think about it, and then there's even more than just think, to actually get their hands dirty, if you will, get in there and do something about it, because it's a great way to bring, as Vanessa was saying earlier, it's just a great way to bring everybody together, everybody in the association. And so I think it's one of the better things that the county does, and we're looking forward to it to expand. As Mary was saying, during 2 years of COVID, we didn't do anything. We weren't able to do anything, as most of us weren't. But we've gotten back on track now, and we're wanting to do even probably at least two grant offerings a year, not just one. And so there you go. It's just a great program, and we really do encourage anybody and everybody to at least apply and see if they have some good ideas out there that will be accepted by our committee. Which, by the way, I wanted to express that we are not involved at all with the the approval or disapproval of anything. That's a whole different group of people in the county. We don't even know who they are, actually, I don't believe at this point. So, I mean, it's just totally out of our hands as to who we do authorize the grants for. But anyway, it's just a fun program, fun for everybody. It's a lot of hard work as well for the folks, but it's very rewarding as well. So, like I say, well, I love to push it, and so that's it.
Thank you, Daryl. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you clarifying who actually looks at the applications. You know, I
Mhm.
think that's important information for people to have who are applying for a neighborhood grant, to understand that
Okay.
it's a completely neutral process,
Exactly.
decision-making process for that. So thank you. And then, of course, Daryl, you know that my office is also available to help you promote it if you ever were to need that. We have a pretty good, significant reach within our city neighborhood associations as well. So please do let me know if there's ever anything I can do. So
Of course, Vanessa.
yeah,
Thank
thank
so
you.
much.
I wanted to talk now with, ask Megan if she would share her experience with the Citizens Information Committee of Martinez Town and let us know about your all experience with the grant, how it went when you applied for it. What did you use your grant funding for? What would you suggest as best practices for any neighborhood association who is looking to apply for the grant now in 2023?
Thank you, Vanessa. So one of my associates, one of my board members, got the email from the county, what's happening in Bernalillo County this week. And I think that we got it in November. So we had pretty tight timeline to apply because the application was due December 8th. I have some experience writing some grants, so I went for it, but this is my first time writing this grant. And I will say that it was kind of interesting in that I had to like develop an RFP kind of with like a paper proposal. So like it had a cover page and a table of contents, and then, you know, all the different aspects that were required for the proposal. And then I had to like make that into a PDF, submit it to Bondfire, and then also attach like my budget and my work plans as part of that RFP. So it was interesting because in some you know, applications, it's just all electronic now. Like here's your you know, your prompt, and then you have a text box that has a certain number of word count. So there was no like required word count. So I tried to not go over word count, like what I thought was appropriate. It's really easy for me to just talk or, you know, write about all the great things that our neighborhood association has done and over the years. So
So Megan, would you say that somebody who doesn't have maybe a certain level of tech expertise might have a little bit of trouble with the electronic process, or would you say it's pretty intuitive?
well, I think that the Bernalillo County staff was
Mhm.
available if you had
Yeah,
questions with tech. So I think that Stephen Bach was very helpful in any of those questions that I had.
great. Okay.
Word count. So that was good. Let's see what else. So the actual like application. It would be great if we had one of those next time you do this, Vanessa, if we had one of those non-partisan people that the county said that they actually selected who got the grant. You know, if they would come on and talk about things that are interesting they're looking for. I did talk a lot about.
We can ask the county about that if we do this again. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. You know, the like how I talked a lot about building community and talking about community partners that we partnered with in our festival from years previous, and then hoping to partner with getting this grant going forward. So let me just talk about what we asked for in this grant coming up. We asked for like three things. We asked for flag replacement costs. We have a park that has National Park Service designation. It's the part of the Tierra Adentro Camino Real National Park trails. And as part of, anyway, our agreement was that with the city and with the National Park Service, that the neighborhood association would be responsible for replacing the flags every year. And so we asked Bernalillo County to help us with that. Also, we do a luminaria display for La Noche Buena on December 24th. And we've done this for probably close to, I don't know, 40 years. Yeah, close to 40 years. So just like, I think back in the 90s, we received some award for like decorating, like best neighborhood decorations for Christmas. So that was great. We've been doing that for a long time. And then we also asked for some contractual expenses with our October 22nd in Unidad Hay Poder Dia de los Muertos Festival. This is in 2023, this will be our third annual festival. It is a Dia de los Muertos festival, but also like a farmer's market. We had the National Institute of Flamenco perform. We had the Poet Laureate perform as part of the festival last year.
Yeah.
We also
That was a great
took
event, by the
part
way.
in-
I went and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, you did? Oh, thank you. Fantastic. So
Oh, yeah. Well, it combined
Okay,
two of my
great.
favorite things, which is Day of the Dead and flamenco. So I could not possibly miss it. Megan, would
well,
you say that utilizing these grant funds from Bernalillo County has been a good tool in terms of either promoting your association or even just promoting community working together there in Martinez County for an
I think
event
it's
such as what
definitely
you?
part of, yeah. So I think actually like applying for these grants, it raises awareness with the neighborhood folks that we are doing these things. And it's like, it's helped me say, solicit people in the neighborhood to get involved and start building our neighborhood association again. For a while, you know, I think with COVID, everybody kind of dispersed and was very individualized. And now it feels like it's time to rebuild a bit. So that has definitely helped with raising awareness for the
Good.
and setting goals for the neighborhood.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much. That's great. Thank you for sharing your experience. I appreciate that. And then last but not least, I'm sorry, I know you're using Daryl's Zoom, and so I can't remember.
Right.
Would you mind reintroducing yourself? I apologize. I'm terrible with
Yes.
names.
I am Antoinette Pacheco with
Antoinette
the
Pacheco.
Sparse Neighborhood Association. And actually, we received a grant last year and we received a grant for this coming year as well. Last year, we held a historic home tour. We were celebrating our centennial. And there were 9 homes historic homes, mine was one, that opened up their home for the full day. It was a Sunday, May 15th. And we had droves of people, you know, with the actual structure of the number of people in each home and going from home to home. We had docent volunteers who were telling a little bit about the home, or at least just keeping people organized and guiding them where to go on to next. This year, we will have one of our longtime board members passed away this fall, Bart Clementi. So we are calling it a Bart Clementi Memorial Pathways and Garden Tours. So we're going to have a walking tour that will encompass art studios that are within the neighborhood. We have several artists who have auxiliary spaces in their home or on their property that are full studios where they work, and in fact have their own studio openings from time to time. So on this day, they will open their studio for the tour. We'll have additional tables and tents at the park, where other artists who don't want to have people over but still want to participate will be able to show their art and either show and sell. It will be on the same day as our neighborhood association meeting or annual meeting. So we will also have other activities, refreshments, entertainment. And I'd just like to say about the staff, if anyone is worried about the cumbersomeness of the project, this grant is so easy, the staff is so competent, and you can't hardly lose your way. They give you so much support and really help you every step of the way so that you always have guidance. And certainly if you have any questions, or if you need to modify forms or change forms or revise numbers or whatever, they're just so thorough. So we had no problem at all in fulfilling last year's grant and then getting kicked off for this year.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. It sounds like you all were very successful in utilizing your grant money, similar to the Martinez Town Group, in funding something that is not just designed to get people part of the neighborhood association, but that's designed to engage everybody who lives there, and also something that's fun and artistic and not just, I think sometimes people think that, belonging to certain, neighborhood groups or whatever is not always like the most fun thing. That's sometimes what I hear in my office, and it's why people sometimes have a hard time getting people to join their association. So this is a great example of doing something that's fun and engages the entire neighborhood, but that's also useful in terms of keeping your existing membership and bringing in new memberships. That's fantastic. Thanks, Antoinette. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And that's good to know that the county has such an engaged staff. I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all. The county is always very engaged, but in terms of the technical issues or potential technical issues, that was a question that I had been sent. Somebody was concerned about possibly applying for the neighborhood grant and running into any technical issues. They said that they were not very tech savvy, which I can relate to because I'm not tech savvy myself. So that's very good that the county provides all those resources. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you very much for that, Antoinette. I appreciate it. I did also want to just say something to any of our attendees out there who are with a homeowner association. So it's true that if you were just an HOA, you would not be considered a recognized neighborhood association, and so would not be able to apply for the county grant in your current status. But if an HOA wanted to join an existing recognized neighborhood association within the city of Albuquerque, that would allow you to be considered a recognized association, and then you could encourage that neighborhood association to apply for the grant. So that's one way that you can work around that. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that. So I don't see any other questions typed into the chat from our attendees. I wanted to ask if Bernalillo County or any of our other neighborhood participants had anything else that they wanted to add. We're coming up on 1 o'clock, so I know some people have to log off, but I think we covered everything. I did want to ask Bernalillo County one more question, either Hannah or Miriam or Daryl. You guys are, I think you're still there.
Yes, we are.
Is there a limit to how many times a neighborhood association can apply for the grant? Like if a neighborhood association wants to apply this year, next year, and the year after, is there a limit to that?
There's no limitation as long as you successfully complete the grant, so you can move on to the next one.
Okay.
You're welcome to apply every year, or if we have it twice a year, but you need to make sure you complete one so you can move on to the next one. We won't allow you to have an open grant and then apply for another one without completing the first one. So
I see. Okay. Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Well, I want to thank all of our panelist attendees today, Miriam Aguilar, Hannah Carras, and Daryl Dady from Bernalillo County, Antoinette Pacheco, Mary Thorne, and Megan Martinez from some of our fantastic neighborhood associations. I appreciate you all taking the time. This was very useful. I actually learned a lot about your grant program that I did not know about. And to our attendees who took the time, again, thank you all very much for being part of this. We did record this session and I will be uploading it to the Office of Neighborhood Coordination's YouTube channel and sending it out next week in our weekly e-news. So that's it for today. I want to thank you all again. Have a great rest of your afternoon and I will see you soon.
Thanks,
Okay.
everyone.
Bye-bye.